Ever glanced out your window and thought, yep, the world's flatter than my phone after a Netflix binge? You're in good company. Legions of armchair geographers claim, if it looks flat from my driveway, case closed. As if that logic wouldn't have us living on a pancake planet. That's right. Once upon a time, if I can't see it, it's not real, was humanity's go-to belief, spurring frantic efforts not to sail off the edge into some uncharted sea monster buffet. Let's be honest, if looks flat was scientific gospel, we'd still believe the sun is a lazy lemon loaf drifting across a paper-thin sky. Ancient sailors clearly missed the memo when ships vanished hull first over the horizon. Classic gravity in perspective, not a cosmic prank. And high school physics wants a word. Newton insists only a globe makes sense, unless you're keen on the idea of mysterious edge falls mid-flight. Oh, and if Earth were flat, you can bet cats would have pushed everything off it by now. If we don't see a curve on the horizon, it strengthens the belief that Earth is flat. If the Earth were truly round, every beach selfie would sport a noticeable bend, and our horizons would look like a Tony Hawk skate park. National Geographic meets ollies and kickflips. Flat earthers love to squint at a flat horizon and declare, if the planet curves, where's the curve? Their logic? If Earth had a curve, it'd be slapping us in the face at every seaside picnic. But here's the thing, Earth's curve is less headline act and more stealthy ninja. This planet is colossal, so huge that its curvature is sneakier than your cat sneaking snacks at 3 a.m. You only start spotting it from serious heights, airplane windows, mountaintops, or weather balloons. It's not in every selfie, but watch a ship sail away. The mast disappears before the hull, a disappearing act humans have marveled at since togas were all the rage. And let's be honest, if Earth were flat, cats would have pushed everything off the edge by now, likely including your sanity. Still not sold? For ultimate curve spotting, trust satellite shots, planes, and high-altitude balloons. No pizza delivery needs a theodolite unless you're meticulously slicing for scientific precision. Furthermore, if Earth were round, planes would have to constantly tilt downward to stay aligned with the curve. Raise your tray tables, folks. The internet's convinced pilots spend every flight pushing the nose down, desperate to dodge a surprise lunar layover. The myth? Some believe airplanes must constantly tilt downward or risk drifting off into the cosmic abyss. The world's quirkiest space tourism program. Picture pilots as babysitters, wrestling jets to keep them from floating away. Meanwhile, NASA isn't doling out frequent flyer miles for accidental orbits. Reality check, flying isn't like driving a car atop a giant beach ball, frantically steering to avoid tumbling off the edge. Gravity, unlike airplane mode, isn't something you can just switch off. Planes naturally follow Earth's curve, with autopilot handling subtle tweaks. Pilots aren't locked in a nose-dipping duel against physics. Thank lift, gravity, inertia, and aerodynamics for keeping your flight smooth and sparing those air sickness bags from heavy duty. Ready for more myth-busting at 35,000 feet? Buckle up. Next stop, turbulence truths that make sci-fi look like child's play. Also, since water always finds its level, oceans wouldn't spill over if Earth weren't perfectly flat. If Earth were truly round, wouldn't the oceans just slosh right off like soup spilling from a wonky bowl? Maybe you're imagining planet-wide water slides, the Atlantic gushing straight into some cosmic sink. This myth keeps bobbing up, the idea that water can't cling to a curve, as if gravity's some picky butler fussing over the house's shape, or that Neptune's lurking with a mop and bucket. But gravity couldn't care less if the surface is flat, curved, or downright wonky. It just tugs everything straight toward Earth's center, no questions asked. That's why level means perpendicular to gravity, on a sphere that makes a smooth, globe-hugging surface. The oceans aren't ignoring the laws of physics. They're perfectly at home, snug in gravity's relentless clutch. Even the most indifferent cat would nod in approval at how unimpressed ocean water is by Earth's roundness. If water did spill off curves, cruise ships would be selling one-way tickets to the universe's wildest slip and slide, and satellites would be issuing life jackets. Tides? Just the moon flirting, not the sea packing its bags for a cosmic road trip. So, if you're waiting for a tidal waterfall off the planet's edge, keep your towel handy, but maybe don't hold your breath. Skeptics therefore argue that photos showing a round Earth from space are fabricated CGI. Imagine a world so flat, every selfie needs Photoshop. Welcome to conspiracy land. Here, the rumor mill spins spicy yarns. NASA's dazzling space shots? Just clever digital doodles cooked up by a secret squad of nerdy wizards. Conspiracy buffs bunker down in echo chambers, binge-watching grainy YouTube rants that make even the savviest CGI artist cringe. But let's pop this bubble. Humans have been snapping pics of our round blue marble since the 1940s, back when Photoshop was just a pipe dream in a computer scientist's imagination. Apollo missions, Russian satellites, and the ISS have all dished out cosmic selfies from various nations, and camera angles stacking up independent proof tougher to fake than your best duck face. Scientists verify the photos, amateur radio buffs decode live signals, and your weather app gleefully swipes real-time satellite snaps. Face it, if all those images were CGI, Google Maps would just be an elaborate fiction. Confusing color correction for deception is like calling your panoramic selfie a tall tale. Step aside, conspiracy theorists. Nature's got the best angles. They extend this disbelief by claiming that Antarctica is actually a giant ice wall surrounding the flat Earth. Ever dreamed of visiting the world's biggest freezer? Good news. Some say it's the rim holding our planet's continents together. According to flat Earth enthusiasts, Antarctica isn't just a continent. It's a giant ice wall encircling the globe, the planet's frosty bouncer keeping everything in line. This frosty legend dates back to the 19th century, when pseudoscience met wishful thinking and recently mutated into viral memes hotter than a penguin in a parka. But what do actual explorers, and, more importantly, the resident penguins, find at the South Pole? Not an endless icy barrier, but a bona fide continent packed with towering mountains, bustling science stations, and enough fish to keep penguins plump and smug. Modern science throws this myth off an ice cliff. Satellite imagery and GPS data prove Antarctica is just your average chunk of land at the bottom of our round globe. The Antarctic Treaty keeps the place pristine, for penguins and researchers, not as the ultimate cosmic gatekeeper. Ironically, flat earthers rely on GPS powered by satellites orbiting our spherical Earth. Debunking this myth is chillier than Antarctica itself, and, let's face it, way more satisfying than spotting another edge-of-the-world meme. Adding to the skepticism, they point out that no one has ever circumnavigated the globe north to south. Imagine setting off around the world by heading straight north, then south, like a wanderlust-stricken yo-yo on a cosmic string. Has anyone actually pulled that off? Most of us picture world travel as a Magellan-style spin east to west, dodging airport snacks and jet lag with weary grace. The prevailing myth: nobody's ever done the north to south and back shuffle because it's impossible, as if Earth tilted just to mess with ambitious explorers. But life loves a plot twist. In 2006, Mike Horn and Børge Ousland crossed the Arctic, though neither quite made the full north-south planetary pirouette. The true global yo-yo champ? Sir Ranulph Fiennes and his Transglobe expedition from 1979 to 1982, which nailed a bona fide north-south circumnavigation using everything but a pogo stick. East-west is so last century. Vertical travel is the new black. Of course, these polar escapades aren't for weekend wanderers. Think biting cold, endless darkness, and a high risk of frostbite. Google Maps won't even bother recalculating your route. Still, north-south circumnavigation isn't impossible. Just the ultimate quest for anyone undeterred by chilly toes and a multi-year road trip. Ready to channel your inner yo-yo? This feeds into doubts about gravity, which some say is just a theory rather than fact. Ever dropped your phone? Congratulations. You've just had a front row seat to gravity in action. And that instant spike of regret. It's not just emotional, it's science giving you a firm nudge. You've probably heard someone say, gravity is just a theory. Sounds like the universe isn't quite sure if you deserve to keep your coffee upright, right? Here's the kicker. In science, a theory isn't a hunch or a casual guess tossed around at brunch. It's the pinnacle of evidence-backed, rigorously tested understanding. The VIP lounge of scientific knowledge. Calling gravity just a theory is about as misguided as saying pizza is just bread with stuff on it. Sure, but the flavor and the physics run a heck of a lot deeper. From apples taking plummeting leaps to astronauts gracefully orbiting Earth, gravity's resume is rock solid. It holds planets in place and prevents us from casually drifting off into the stratosphere. Imagine a world without gravity, cosmic cartwheels everywhere, chaos reigning, and cats still knocking things off shelves, just for sport. So how does a bulletproof theory like gravity stay razor sharp? By getting constantly tested, tweaked, and polished. Because science doesn't do set it and forget it. Let's dive into how the brightest ideas keep their edge. Consequently, satellite TV is believed to rely on hidden ground towers instead of real satellites. Ever wonder if that dish on your roof is just gossiping with some swanky lamppost down the street? Conspiracy buffs insist TV doesn't rain down from the heavens but bounces off sneaky ground towers lurking nearby. Apparently, satellites are too far away. How else could they beam your favorite telenovela straight into your living room without missing the atmospheric exit ramp? Here's the skinny. Geostationary satellites lounge about 36,000 kilometers above the equator, lazier than your Thanksgiving uncle, yet always on the clock. Your antenna points skyward for good reason. Unless your neck's a contortionist, good luck aiming it at some mysterious mast on Main Street. Ground towers cover maybe a block, so if you live in the sticks, you'd need a telescopic selfie stick just to catch their signal. And when a thunderstorm snatches your championship game, blame rain fade, a quirk unique to space signals, not your neighbor's uber-leafy hedge. Remember, international agencies track every satellite launch, so unless NASA's throwing the biggest cosmic prank ever, conspiracy hunters might want to look for their Waldo elsewhere. All these doubts lead to suspicions that space agencies conspire to hide the truth about a flat Earth. Why trust space agencies when you've got Google Earth at your fingertips? According to a thriving internet theory, NASA, Roscosmos, ESA, and their cosmic crew have formed history's most unlikely alliance, a globe-spanning conspiracy to suppress the flat Earth truth. Suddenly, the same agencies that can't agree on space toilet designs are supposed to flawlessly coordinate a cover-up. These are the folks behind the metric imperial mashup that turned a Mars probe into a legendary facepalm moment. The plot thickens with moon landings faked more times than a bad sequel, CGI astronauts floating in pixel-perfect orbits, and satellite launches that supposedly make a dodgy fireworks show look legit. In theory, this secret society would have a membership list longer than your Facebook friend count, and yet, not a single office party selfie leaks out. Meanwhile, reality is less cloak and dagger and more open forum. Amateur astronomers, satellite trackers, and rival space agencies gleefully fact-check each other like the universe's nosiest neighbors. These same organizations can't even hide their budget overruns, so pulling off a millennium-spanning secret? That's as unlikely as airline snacks miraculously staying put on your tray table. Flat Earth or not, some conspiracies just don't hold up to gravity. People explaining ship disappearances argue it's due to perspective rather than Earth's curvature. Ever wondered why ships vanish hull first as they sail away? Spoiler alert, it's not cosmic hide-and-seek with intergalactic pranksters. The classic ship disappearing over the horizon is the go-to proof that Earth is round, while flat earthers insist it's just perspective. The ship isn't sinking, it's shrinking. If perspective alone made ships vanish, magicians worldwide would be out of tricks. Abracadabra. Your car just shrunk instead of driving off. But reality isn't that cooperative with magical thinking. As a ship moves away, its hull disappears before the mast, something that wouldn't happen if our planet were a giant frisbee. Even the most eagle-eyed pirate with a fancy spyglass can only delay the inevitable. Sure, the mast might bob back into view, but the hull stays stubbornly sunbathing below the horizon. No PhD required to test this, just patience, binoculars, and a healthy layer of sunscreen. Lighthouses and tall ship masts exist precisely to peak above the curve, stretching what we can see. Because no matter how many carrots you munch, you still won't spot Tokyo from San Francisco. Earth's curve says nope, and your eyes have no choice but to agree. If curvature doesn't exist, then GPS systems wouldn't work based on a curved Earth. Imagine your phone's GPS only working at flat Earth conventions and barbecues, then losing signal the moment you climb a hill. Spoiler alert, satellites don't do selective reception. Flat Earth believers claim GPS works because satellites hover above a flat plane, as if the globe theory were some cosmic practical joke. But here's the kicker. GPS satellites are actually zipping around 20,000 kilometers above us, tracing spherical paths that only make sense on a round Earth. The magic behind GPS isn't sci-fi beep boop, it's geometry showing off. Your location dot pops up thanks to triangulation, a complicated dance of invisible lines from multiple satellites that only works if Earth's curvature is math-checked. If engineers used flat Earth calculations, your GPS accuracy would be about as reliable as drunk darts at midnight. Still getting directions in Antarctica, or while on your Australian walkabout? That's globe math flexing, because if Earth were flat, every airport would just announce, now landing, somewhere off the edge. Likewise, some claim that airplanes never have to adjust their flight for Earth's spin, the Coriolis effect. Ever wonder why your flight from New York to London doesn't accidentally detour to the North Pole? Some imagine pilots gripping the controls tight, wrestling Earth's furious 1,000 km spin like cowboy astronauts in a cosmic rodeo. If that were true, Air traffic controllers would need degrees in roller coaster design and astrophysics just to keep planes on track. The myth goes like this. Because the planet spins beneath our feet, pilots must heroically compensate, or else planes would crash land somewhere like Siberia instead of Heathrow. But here's the real scoop. You, the airplane, and the entire atmosphere are all riding the same gigantic invisible moving walkway, Earth's rotation. When a plane takes off, it carries Earth's spin with it, just like how jumping on a moving treadmill won't catapult you into the wall. Sure, the Coriolis effect is real, but its claim to fame is swirling hurricanes, not turning your jetliner into a cosmic pinball. Pilots adjust for wind patterns, not planetary spin. If they had to constantly dodge Earth's rotation, lost luggage would be the least of our worries. Imagine accidental round trips to Greenland. So sit back and relax. Your pilot isn't secretly navigating an interstellar obstacle course mid-flight. This skepticism extends to the absence of authentic photographs of a round Earth from space. Ever heard the rumor that every photo of our round Earth is faker than a spray-tanned moon landing? Flat Earthers insist all those iconic Earth from space snaps are nothing but CGI, as if NASA moonlights as a secret Photoshop agency devoted to giving our planet the ultimate glow-up. The tale goes, NASA can't, or won't, serve up a real, unedited pic of Mother Earth's, true girth. But here's where that myth faceplants. Since the 1960s, NASA and friends have churned out thousands of images, many snapped by astronauts with handheld cameras, not just fancy satellites. The blue marble, captured by a real human on Apollo 17, not some bored intern buried in Adobe. Sure, some shots are composites, gotta get those colors and clouds just right, but plenty of classic single-click beauties exist. And let's not forget amateur satellites and cosmonauts pitching in with their own round Earth receipts. If NASA's faking it, they're seriously missing out on Instagram sponsorship deals. As for clouds, those drama queens never once show up to turn our planet into a square. Coincidence? I think not. Moreover, they say that if the sun were real, it would illuminate the entire flat Earth at once. Ever wonder why night falls if the sun is just cruising over a giant cosmic pancake? Flat Earth fans say our glowing orb hovers above a flat disk, shining down like a table lamp over your dinner. If that were true, every inch beneath the sun's path would be stuck in an eternal, ay caramba. Imagine the sunscreen sales surge, and vampires would have zero chance of beauty sleep. But let's bring geometry to the party. Place an overhead lamp above a plate. What do you get? Brightness everywhere. No cozy mystery of nightfall, just relentless, inescapable exposure. Science fairs have crushed many dreams with this simple experiment. No half-lit drama, only full-throttle sunshine. Astronomers, whose job thankfully does not include managing magical trapdoors or celestial spotlights, know the real deal. Only half the globe faces the sun at once, creating the classic day and night show. So next time you call your friend at midnight, don't worry, they're probably not busy catching rays. Unless your sun is the world's laziest spotlight operator, shrugging. No dark mode available? Questions about Earth's rotation arise, such as why people can't feel the motion. Imagine waking up dizzy every morning, not from last night's escapades, but because Earth's spinning like a cosmic merry-go-round. Sounds bonkers, right? After all, our planet twirls at a dizzying 1,670 km/h, that's 1,037 mph, at the equator. That's faster than your office chair on a Friday afternoon, yet somehow you aren't clutching your bed for dear life each morning. Shouldn't we be plastered against walls, hair blown back, yelling, "Slow down"? Not quite. Just like you don't feel the plane cruising smoothly at 30,000 feet, we're blissfully unaware, thanks to constant, steady motion. Some folks claim we'd be flung off like socks in a dryer, but physics throws that myth out the window. Inertia keeps us cruising through space with Earth, and gravity holds us down tighter than a motivational poster clinging to the break room wall. Plus, everything around us, trees, air, Aunt Linda's garden gnomes, spins along so there's no whoosh to feel. Turns out, the only thing we're really getting flung into is another Monday. Want actual motion that wakes you up? Try an earthquake or airplane turbulence. Now that'll get your attention. Flight time discrepancies are cited as further proof of a flat Earth, conflicting with globe predictions. Ever line up your puddle jumper's nap time with a flight map and wonder, wait, are these numbers or bedtime stories? If so, you're in good company, especially among flat Earth enthusiasts who claim flight times prove we're hurtling around on a giant cosmic frisbee. Their punchline? Southern Hemisphere flights are either suspiciously long or bafflingly speedy. clearly outing the globe as a grand conspiracy. After all, if the world were round, wouldn't flight times and distances add up like clockwork every single trip? Here's the turbulence. Real-world flight paths rack up extra miles dodging storms, riding jet streams, skirting restricted airspace, or veering around migrating geese with impeccable timing. Airlines aren't zigzagging to protect flat Earth secrets. They're saving fuel, obeying regulations, and juggling profits, not planetary shapes. Aviation math relies on latitude, longitude, and physics, all tested daily. No flat Earth map by big globe taped to the cockpit window. Honestly, if airlines were hiding the planet's shape, why do flights still run late? In the end, pilots don't fall off any edge. They just land, jet-lagged, on a perfectly round curve. Additionally, sightings of unexpectedly distant objects suggest Earth's surface isn't curved. The internet is overflowing with claims that spotting a distant city skyline across a lake means Earth must be flatter than your breakfast pancake. Look, I can see Chicago from across Lake Michigan. Flat Earthers crow, convinced that if something's visible from afar, our planet's a giant, overpriced paperweight. Their theory, that our eyeballs, or camera lenses, are somehow smarter than the boring laws of physics. But here's the kicker. Earth really does have curves. It's not being sneaky, just atmospheric. Under rare conditions, light bends around Earth's surface thanks to tricks like refraction, pulling off optical illusions worthy of a Vegas magician. What you're seeing is nature's version of a magic show. Mirages and superior mirages make distant skyscrapers hover above the water like ghostly Lego towers. Sorry, no conspiracy here. Surveyors and sailors still do their math on a globe. Spoiler alert, the numbers add up. If spotting a city across a lake proved Earth was flat, my midnight fridge raids would reveal time itself is fake. And honestly, if the world were flat, cruise ships could just play universal peekaboo, radar not included. Furthermore, star constellations supposedly appear the same everywhere if Earth is flat. Ever wondered if stargazing in Australia would look the same as in Alaska, assuming our planet was a giant cosmic pancake? Grab your telescopes and hold tight. Some flat earthers claim the stars should dazzle identically from every spot on this hypothetical dinner plate, meaning you could swap Vienna for Sydney without ruffling a single astronomer's feathers. But spoiler alert, in the real world, northern and southern hemispheres serve up dramatically different night skies. Hunting for the Big Dipper in Melbourne? Good luck, it's as elusive as snow in the Sahara. Meanwhile, the Southern Cross, a bona fide superstar down south, vanishes the second you hop north. Why the stellar switcheroo? Because Earth is a colossal spinning sphere, sorry flatties, placing you on opposite sides with distinctly different cosmic views. Polaris, the infamous North Star, pulls a Houdini down under, handing the spotlight over to the Southern Cross. If Earth were truly flat, constellations would be as predictable as bad jokes at a flat Earth convention. No surprises, no drama, and definitely no failing astronomy exams twice. Instead, this celestial shuffle is the universe's witty way of reminding us. Earth isn't flattening out, it's twirling with style. Gyroscopes are claimed to provide evidence that Earth is not moving. If you trust YouTube conspiracy fuel, gyroscopes are Earth's ultimate snitches, betraying every move and proving we're riding a cosmic lazy Susan. Here's the scoop. Gyroscopes, hailed by flat earthers as the secret agents of science, stubbornly refuse to tip over. Their logic? If Earth's spinning, the gyroscope should wobble. No wobble, no spin. Case closed, right? Plot twist. Gyroscopes are actually eager informants on Earth's rotation. The fanciest laser gyros and the venerable Foucault pendulum quietly record a 15-degree-per-hour drift. More reliable than your uncle's fishing tails, but with actual physics on their side. Aviation, spaceflight, even missile guidance wouldn't work without these spin-savvy gadgets. If gyros turned a blind eye to Earth's spin, GPS would glitch out. Your phone's map app would curse you to eternal wandering, and airlines could start selling hover flights where the world just whizzes beneath you. Flat earthers love cherry-picking failed or misread experiments, conveniently skipping the boring but beautiful truth. The universe really does behave itself. Similarly, the Earth's shadow during lunar eclipses is argued not to be circular if Earth were a sphere. Picture the moon, all dressed to the nines, auditioning for the universe's darkest film noir, when out of nowhere, a mysterious shadow from Earth swoops in like a cosmic hard-boiled detective stealing the spotlight. Some skeptics squint and protest. Hold on, if Earth's a sphere, why is its shadow perfectly circular during a lunar eclipse? That can't be right. But here comes the twist. Ancient stargazers like Aristotle cracked this cosmic mystery centuries ago, simply by watching the moon slip into Earth's shadowy embrace. See, flat Earth theories suggest our planet's a giant pancake, so its shadow should look the part. A sloppy, syrupy smear. But only a sphere can pull off that flawless curve, every time, from every angle, in every dramatic celestial scene. Tilt Earth this way, spin it that, Mother Nature flunks origami. Earth's shadow stays stubbornly round. Even Aristotle smirked. Nice try. Shadows don't fib. And unless you're scripting a sequel to Cloudy with a Chance of Delusions, clouds don't write the script either. People note the absence of observable curvature from tall buildings or mountains as further proof. Ever stood atop a skyscraper, scanned the horizon, and wondered why Earth's curve is more elusive than your New Year's resolutions? You're not alone. Flat Earth fans say that from such dizzying heights, you should spot a dramatic curve. Yet all you see is miles of seemingly flat terrain, as if the planet is playing hide and seek with its own geometry. Here's the kicker. Earth is so enormous that even from a skyscraper, its curve whispers rather than shouts. Your eyes aren't precision instruments. There's no built-in zoom or curvature detector app included. Expecting to spot Earth's roundness from up there is like hunting wrinkles on a potato. Possible in theory, laughably doomed in practice. When scientists really want to catch the curve, they whip out high-powered instruments and carefully calibrated cameras. Your cousin's phone? Not so much. Even atop Mount Everest, Earth's bend is subtler than a confused puppy's head tilt. For real proof, watch a ship's hull disappear before its mast, or catch Chicago's skyline dipping shyly behind Lake Michigan. The planet, it seems, has mastered the art of a sly curve reveal, just not for the naked eye. They also point out that maps distort reality, suggesting the globe model is just an illusion. Think flattening the Earth for a map is harmless? It's actually a full-blown cartographic crime scene. Most of us treat maps like sacred scripture, but the brutal truth is, all maps lie. Why? Because the Earth simply refuses to be paper-trained. Squashing a 3D globe onto a flat sheet is like trying to iron a basketball or fold a fitted sheet without tears. Disaster guaranteed. Enter the infamous Mercator projection, beloved in classrooms, notorious among geographers. It stretches Greenland until it bulks up like it's been chugging protein shakes, ready to bench press Africa, which, by the way, is way bigger in real life. Every map projection has to distort something, size, shape, distance, because geometry refuses to play nice. Goods homolosine, sinusoidal, mulvida, and their alphabet soup cousins all bring their own quirks, like continents that look like they've got the world's biggest identity crisis. So if you spot a lopsided continent, don't start doubting the globe. The Earth's roundness is confirmed daily by satellites, planes, and astronauts who don't accidentally float off into the void. Using map mishaps to deny a round Earth is like blaming your bathroom mirror for your morning bedhead. Remember, a map is just a model. If flat paper defined reality, pizza would officially be a planet. From this perspective, Earth must be flat. Otherwise, people in Australia would risk falling off. If Earth were flat, Australians would need suction cup shoes just to avoid plummeting into the abyss. It's the classic down-under conundrum. Shouldn't Aussies be clinging for dear life, or at least perpetually dizzy? According to flat Earth lore, a pancake planet is foolproof. No one rolls off. No one's stuck polishing the continent upside down. Lucky for science, and gravity-defying kangaroos, the real world is far less slapstick. Here's the lowdown. Gravity is the universal force keeping us all tethered to the planet, whether you're sipping tea in London or grilling shrimp down under. Down isn't some global agreement. It's always toward the center of our round Earth, not just the nearest Barbie. No secret magnets are clinging to Aussies. They stick around for the same reason we all do. Mass attracts mass. Astronaut selfies? They show a glowing blue marble, not a giant pizza tray with crusty edges. Even airlines and GPS systems run on globe logic, not on some disk of doom fantasy. Bottom line, Aussies are more likely to fall into a barbecue than off the Earth. Bungee jumping companies can keep charging by the jump, not the hemisphere. Time zones are questioned for their logic on a spherical Earth model. Ever tried calling a friend abroad and accidentally woke them at 3 a.m.? Welcome to the wacky world of time zones. Earth's way of asking, are you sure this is a good time? Contrary to the neat lines your cartography class doodled, time zones slice up our planet like a toddler armed with scissors, crooked, wobbly, and gleefully defying any sense of straightness. Let's bust a cosmic myth. Time zones weren't handed down by some celestial decree. They were railroad inventions, In the 19th century, train timetables were so baffling that passengers had no clue if they were early, late, or already speeding toward nowhere. The fix? Cut time into wonky zones. But human stubbornness makes things even weirder. Some cities, Pyongyang, Kathmandu, said, "Why not add some flair?" Boom. 15 or 45-minute offsets, just to scramble your brain and keep you up at night doing mental time math. The international date line even zigzags like it's avoiding a pothole, so Christmas doesn't accidentally skip an island. And solar noon, when the sun's highest, is rarely at 12 p.m., meaning sun worshippers might actually be bowing down to their microwaves instead. Yet this patchwork system governs New Year's Eve parties, now 26 hours long online, global business, and that eternal, "What time is it in Newfoundland?" mystery. A system that's arbitrary, infuriating, but somehow utterly indispensable. Because of these doubts, the moon landing is claimed to be staged to conceal Earth's shape. Did the Apollo astronauts really set foot on the moon, or just take a giant leap onto a Hollywood soundstage, possibly directed by Stanley Kubrick, who's still waiting for his Oscar for Best Science Project? Conspiracy theorists claim the whole event was staged simply because the Earth looks, round in those otherworldly snapshots. Apparently, NASA was so committed to faking a blue marble and outshining their Soviet rivals that they pulled off the biggest cover-up in history and forgot to Photoshop in some fluffier clouds. The real kicker? If this cosmic charade were true, it would have involved thousands of people, yet not a single set decorator has spilled the beans. Meanwhile, flat earthers dub NASA never a straight answer. I'd suggest nice and spherical, actually, fits better. Skeptics conveniently overlook mountains, literal and metaphorical, of evidence. Moon rocks, seismic experiments, laser reflectors, and broadcasts watched worldwide. Modern probes, including those from countries eager to expose NASA, have mapped Apollo landing sites with pinpoint precision. Elon Musk now live streams rockets into space, and yet some folks still doubt those wonderfully nerdy engineers armed with their slide rules. Flight paths in the southern hemisphere are interpreted as evidence supporting flat Earth ideas. Ever tried booking a flight from Santiago to Sydney and felt like your plane just got cast in its own season of Lost? You're not alone. Flat Earthers love to zero in on these quirky southern hemisphere routes, claiming they're some kind of northbound loop-de-loops cooked up to hide the world's true shape. According to the theory, airline planners aren't far from Illuminati-level masterminds, secretly pulling off the biggest travel cover-up since the invention of decent airport coffee. But before you don the tinfoil captain's hat, rest assured, direct flights are a thing. They're just about as common as complimentary legroom, thanks to factors like passenger demand, refueling pit stops, and even the stamina limits of the most hopeful Dreamliners. Airlines reroute for economics and safety reasons, not to run a global geometry conspiracy. And when these flights do lift off, they follow the shortest path possible, the Great Circle route, elegantly arching over the globe. The only thing flakier than flat Earth logic? That mystery chicken they serve above the clouds. So next time your itinerary looks like a doodle gone wrong, blame winds and weather, not some grand cartographic cover-up. This feeds into beliefs that the sun and moon are small, close lights above a flat Earth. Imagine the sun and moon as fancy ceiling lamps hovering over a cosmic billiards table called Earth. According to many flat Earth models, these mini luminaries are only about 32 miles wide and hang just a few thousand miles above our heads. Basically, two bright roommates who refuse to pay rent. Instead of orbiting, they're depicted circling the flat Earth disk endlessly, like celestial Roombas dodging commitment. Flat Earthers claim sunsets and sunrises aren't about dipping below any curve. Nope, the sun just moves out of view, as if it's dodging awkward small talk. Even better, the moon supposedly shines thanks to its own built-in flashlight, making all that romantic moonlight more like a distant cousin's lost and found search party. Meanwhile, actual science is hanging out at the grown-ups' table. The sun is a whopping 93 million miles away. The moon stretches over 2,000 miles wide, and both are far too distant for a really tall ladder or a well-thrown frisbee. Lunar eclipses? In the flat model, they make about as much sense as trying to hide a giant light bulb behind a coffee table. The constant visibility of Polaris is used to argue against a round Earth. You've probably heard that Polaris, the North Star, shines eternally in the night sky, always visible, like your friend's never-ending vacation selfies. Some folks even insist that if the Earth were truly round, Polaris would vanish on a lengthy southern detour. If the globe's curves can't hide a giant celestial spotlight, maybe the planet's flat after all? Well, reality throws a cosmic curveball. Polaris is only the eternal nightlight for the northern hemisphere. The southern half of Earth isn't on the invite list. Thanks to our planet's fancy tilt, the stars you see reflect your latitude, not evidence of a cosmic ironing board. Head north, and Polaris climbs higher, your personal stalker in the sky. Journey far enough south, though, and it quietly slips below the horizon. Down under, Polaris is as missing as ice cream in a desert. Navigators use Polaris to gauge how far north they are. It's more like a stellar GPS than a universal beacon. So, next time someone swears Polaris follows everyone everywhere, remind them. If penguins could spot it, they'd have a real thing to squawk about. And Australians hunting for it? Like cats chasing an invisible laser, confused, energetic, and perpetually out of luck. Critics say physics would break down if Earth were a spinning ball. Imagine a planet spinning so fast we'd all stick to its surface like fridge magnets. Welcome to the topsy-turvy world of folks who claim gravity isn't real. Flat earthers argue that if Earth were a giant spinning ball, we'd be flung off like water from a soaked tennis ball. In their universe, amusement parks must be empty fields where gravity-defying guests literally orbit during the teacup ride. Here's the myth. Gravity isn't strong enough to keep us glued to a whirling planet. But let's get real. Physics has this sorted. Thanks to Earth's hefty mass and moderate spin, gravity's grip easily outmuscles the centrifugal force at the equator. Sorry, Ecuador. No floating tourists on your beaches anytime soon. You'd need superhero-level leaps to launch off, and even then, you'd come crashing back down, unless you're banking on spontaneous space travel. Thankfully for pilots, athletes, and your stubborn hair follicles, gravity isn't some glitchy software about to crash. The only real wobble Earth's rotation gives us is the Coriolis effect, responsible for quirky hurricane spins, not surprise satellite launches. So unless Newton and Einstein were undercover wizards, you can stay grounded. Pun absolutely intended. They argue that river water cannot flow uphill over a curved globe. Ever tried pouring water up a slide? It's about as effective as convincing your cat to file your taxes. Now, river water faces an even trickier obstacle course, flowing across a planet rounder than your favorite donut. Flat earthers say this means rivers sometimes defy gravity, flowing uphill on a globe, clearly imagining anti-gravity waterfalls and salmon in hiking boots. But here's the soggy truth. The myth assumes rivers flow in straight lines, which only happens if you've never watched a river, studied plumbing, or sucked on a twisty straw. Gravity's got one job: pulling things toward Earth's center, not the sides. Rivers simply flow downhill, from higher elevation to lower elevation, in a scenic, curvy route toward the planet's core, not out into space. The Amazon's epic floods and the Nile's meandering magic happen right here on our round planet. No jetpacks or floating aqueducts needed. So if your irrigation plan requires a zero-gravity chamber, maybe check your blueprints before blaming the globe. Additionally, compass functionality is claimed to make sense only on a flat Earth. Ever wonder if your compass secretly moonlights as a flat Earth believer? Relax. It's not sneaking off to secret pizza parties at the planet's edge. Some flat earthers claim compasses work because Earth is a cosmic pancake, and the needle dutifully points to the edge. Capital T, capital E, naturally. Legend has it, follow your compass long enough, and you'll reach the spot where the pizza crust curls up and reality takes a vacation. Time for a reality check. Compasses operate thanks to Earth's magnetic field, not its shape. It's magnetism, not flatness, that sends that needle trembling with purpose. Our delightfully round, edgeless planet generates a wild geomagnetic field, like a gigantic bar magnet gone haywire. Rest assured, no pancakes were harmed in the making of this compass reading. That's why your compass needle doesn't suddenly spin out of control on a globe. Ships sail over horizons smoothly, no edge of the map drama here. If compasses really needed a flat Earth, I'd finally have an excuse for never finding my tent at music festivals. So, if your compass isn't a flat Earth fan, what other mysteries are getting completely misunderstood these days? Skeptics contend that no one has traveled straight below the equator, questioning globe navigation. Picture this. Intrepid adventurers march south, steely-eyed compasses in hand, only to smack into an invisible force field at the equator. Turn back, mortal. Straight lines are outlawed below here. If only travel were that theatrical. This myth defies logic. Supposedly, you can't plow an exact straight line beneath the equator, Mother Nature's own sneaky tripwire. So far, no Southern Hemisphere travelers have reported shocking encounters. At least none they admit to. In reality, airplanes, ships, and satellites cross the equator and glide through the Southern Hemisphere with zero fuss, like a taxi driver taking the express lane. pilots aren't pulling U-turns at latitude 0, they'd starve before reaching Brazil. This tale harks back to old mariners spooked by the unknown South. Maybe their travel insurance just didn't cover scary stories. Physics 101, Earth's a wobbly beach ball. A straight line is really a great circle route. GPS pilots these with the grace of a penguin on parade. Unless gravity suddenly develops favorite hemispheres, there's nothing stopping you from cruising straight through the South. So, if not a straight line ban, what secrets is the Southern Hemisphere hiding? Time to find out. The lack of real-time satellite feeds reinforces the belief that space itself is fake. Ever wondered why you can't binge-watch your backyard live from space? If satellites are real, where's my 24/7 selfie stream from the ISS? Are the aliens just camera shy, or is my dog sneakily swiping the newspaper before NASA can even tweet about it? Some conspiracy theorists say that the lack of nonstop public satellite feeds proves space is faker than a cat's affection. But before you adjust your tinfoil hat, let's zoom out, literally. The International Space Station rockets around Earth at a blazing 17 of 500 mph. Real time at that speed means your house appears and disappears faster than you can say, "Where did I put my sunglasses?" Then there's the pesky matter of bandwidth. Streaming every square inch of Earth would make TikTok look like a carrier pigeon network. And privacy laws? Nobody wants their backyard barbecue broadcast across the cosmos. Sure, there are live ISS cams, but expect delay, limited coverage, and 0 raccoon cameos. Between clouds, nightfall, and Earth's inconvenient bigness, a 24/7 zoom on your driveway remains a pipe dream. Spoiler alert, there's no global Wi-Fi strong enough, unless of course the aliens decide to lend us theirs. Moreover, the existence of seasons doesn't align logically with a spinning, tilted globe. Ever wonder why Australians are barbecuing in December, while Americans are shoveling snow? Blame the tilt, not some cosmic prank. You might think if Earth spins like a dizzy toddler, the seasons would sync up. One giant planetary pool party or a mass hot chocolate festival. But nope, the universe doesn't hand out participation trophies for seasonal conformity. While we're debunking myths, let's clear this up. It's not about how close we are to the sun. Earth actually swings closest in January. Sorry, snowed-in northerners. The real troublemaker is our 23.5-degree tilt. Earth's not standing upright. It's forever jazz dancing through space, and that shimmy gives us opposite seasons in each hemisphere. When the north leans in for its solar tan, the south pulls on its woolly socks, and vice versa. Longer, stronger sunlight makes summer sizzle. Shorter, weaker rays bring out winter's fashion. And of course, hot cocoa. No tilt, no seasons, just bland monotony. Even the British would complain. Need proof this isn't a one-off? Check out Uranus. Its wild tilt throws seasons so bizarre, even Australians would scratch their heads. All of these suspicions culminate in theories that NASA's logo reveals conspiracies. Ever noticed NASA's infamous meatball logo? Conspiracy theorists sure have, because nothing screams hidden truth like a swirl of red, blue, and white slapped on a government patch. Finally, proof that rocket science is secretly about sneaking Da Vinci Code subplots into branding. Out in the wild corners of the internet, some claim aliens designed the logo before phoning home. The swoosh? It's either Saturn's ring or, if you're feeling extra spicy, a reptilian tongue. Pick your sci-fi flavor. The stars? A constellation map? Or maybe, if you stare hard enough at 3 a.m., they cryptically spell out, "We faked the moon landing." Take that, Morse code. And don't get distracted by the bold chevron, aka the vector. Conspiracy circles call it a Freemason ninja weapon. Others, just some astronaut flair. NASA's real story? Boring. The logo's basically a space-themed pizza slice sprinkled with nods to orbits and exploration. Bottom line, the only thing NASA's really hiding is a government grant for questionable color choices. And if graphic designers secretly are reptilians, I fully expect them to confess to inventing Comic Sans next.